So the Director of Public Prosecutions, the CS Internal Coordination, and CS Coordination and Internal Security. All ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. We are gathered today on this auspicious occasion of the graduation ceremony of our new prosecutors and inductees who have undergone an intensive training program. Before we go into the session of speeches, I want us to honor the graduates today by giving them an opportunity to make some special presentations to us. I invite the graduates to come in front here. I am told that they have a beautiful choir. So you are welcome. Let us appreciate them as they organize themselves. Let us appreciate the young people to encourage them. Thank you so much, our graduates. We really appreciate your effort. You have gone an extra mile to grace this occasion with your music and your creativity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call a few guests to make brief remarks. And I will start by calling Mr. Karaoke, the representative of the DCI. Sorry about that. Let me start with Madam Dorcas Oduor, OGW, Senior Counsel, Secretary, Public Prosecutions, and then we'll go to the other guests. Thank you. Madam, welcome.
Honorable CS and distinguished guests, I will adopt the salutations as already cited by Tabitha. Now, it is with great pleasure and humility and honor that I welcome you to the PTI. All of you, our distinguished guests, have had an immense contribution to our growth. My remarks this morning are intended to externalize who we are and what we do. You will bear with me. To start with, we have a few questions that people ask about the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the prosecution services. So what is the purpose of any prosecution service? Or what is the purpose of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions? We are the gatekeepers to the criminal justice. Insofar as, without our initiative, there cannot be a prosecution and repression of crime. We are, in fact, society's principal means of pursuing punishment of criminal behavior, and we are the interface with the adjudicative bodies of the country. What do we intend to achieve? We intend to protect the society from a culture of impunity. We intend to secure citizens' trust. We intend to ensure safety of our people and their properties. We intend to ensure that criminals don't benefit from crime by asset forfeiture and confiscation. We intend to ensure that those who commit offenses are brought to account and that victims of crime get justice. By ensuring fair, impartial, and transparent prosecution, we want to restore faith into the criminal justice system and to attract investment. Another question that people ask is, how are we established and who are we? The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is founded under Chapter 9 of the Constitution, Article 157. And it is important, I'm just repeating that the DPP is mandated to exercise state powers of prosecution. And by exercising state powers of prosecution, he does not represent a particular person in a prosecution. He represents the whole state. And it does not require the consent of anybody to do that. Article 157.4 provides that the DPP shall have power to direct the IG, and 157.6, he may initiate a prosecution. I am repeating that because the word may means that prosecution in every criminal investigation is not mandatory. Our system is opportunistic. He has to take into account public interest, the interest of administration of justice, and the need to prevent the abuse of the process of court. It then means that even where there is an investigation and we have sufficient evidence, if it is not in the public interest, we will not prosecute. If it is not in the interest of administration of justice, we will not prosecute. And if it is an abuse of the court process, we will not prosecute. And the only person under the Constitution who is mandated to reside thus is the prosecutor and not the investigator. How does the DPP exercise the powers given to him under the Constitution? We have prosecutors who are appointed under general instructions, and those are us and you. Then we have people who exercise special instructions. Then we have those who exercise delegated prosecutions, and you know them. I want to show you the organogram of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. And from this organogram, you can see that the DPP is at the top and we have 4 departments. Our prosecution system is hierarchical. It then means that our orders come from our leader, who is the DPP, and is hierarchical as opposed to judicial. In civil law systems, you have a judicial system of prosecution where all prosecutors are the same and they are independent. In most common law countries, it is hierarchical. So ours is hierarchical. That is why whatever we do in the name of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and it takes responsibility for all our errors and our achievements. That is the summary of the staff in the Office of the Public Prosecutions currently. As at 2018, we were 943. Currently, we have 982, taking into account those who have left. Then we have a total of 354 ladies prosecutors, and we have a total of 191 lady non-legal. The male, we have 249 male, and 188 female. It then means that women are the majority in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, which is a good thing, isn't it? What guides the Office of the DPP in exercising his mandate? Apart from the Constitution, we have the ODPP Act, which is a legislation and other legislations. We have policies and guidelines, which include the decision to charge, plea bargain, diversion, and others that you know of. And we also have some core values that we ascribe to: transparency, accountability, integrity, professionalism, independence, and teamwork. For this period, each institution or each agency must have a directing strategy. So we have our strategic plan up to 2024, and the strategic objectives are to deliver quality prosecution services, to strengthen partnerships and collaborations, to review policies and legal frameworks, to enhance the capacity of the DPP to deliver on its mandate, and to modernize ODPP processes and procedures. Out of this, when we got a new Director of Public Prosecutions, we came up with a 3-year program, which we are calling the Excellence Charter. And in the Excellence Charter, we've got 6 themes or 6 thematic areas that we want to approach: independence and integrity, lifelong learning, which is why we are here today, reshaping prosecutions to be better, leadership and succession, organizational effectiveness, and interagency network. What are the functions of the DPP? I put this here because every time we talk about the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, we simply think about conducting prosecutions in court. But that is not it. The Director of Public Prosecution has other powers. He is supposed to promote appropriate standards, implement an effective prosecution mechanism, cooperate with other agencies, set the qualification and appointment of prosecutors, review the decisions to prosecute or not to prosecute, to advise the state on all matters relating to the administration of criminal justice, and to do other things. And that is provided for under the ODPP Act Part 2, Section 5. Now, prosecution is a specialized skill requiring continuous professional development due to the ever-evolving nature of crime. Lifelong learning, prioritized by the ODPP in the Excellence Charter, is one of the strategic commitments aimed at equipping staff with requisite skills and capabilities. Toward this objective, the Prosecution Training Institute, where we are today, was established in 2018, and we offer the following categories of training, among others: inception or induction training, and that is the training that you undertook for the officers who are coming into the ODPP. And DPP and CS is not only for prosecutors, we do this for prosecutors and non-legal staff. And then we do specialized thematic training, which is in specialized areas. We do continuous professional development, and we also undertake professional training, and we interview our staff before we promote them so that we make sure that the correct people hold the correct jobs and designations. Going forward, the PTI seeks to contribute to enhance the ODPP core mandate and general development of our staff through capacity building, serve as a platform to improve services in criminal justice sector through joint training and promotion of best practices, and we want to serve as a general center of excellence for research in criminal practice and prosecution in the region and in the world. What cases does the DPP deal with? The DPP is mandated under the Constitution to deal with all criminal cases in all courts. So we deal with all criminal cases and in all courts from the Supreme Court to the lower courts. This is the data that we have, and we have confirmed this with the judiciary. In the last 6 months, this is only in the last 3 years, 2017, 2018, we filed 283,788 criminal cases, 18-19, 343,083, 19-20, 249, 249,311. Surprisingly, from January to date, from July 2020 to December 2020, we filed 109,086 cases. And we have the list of resolved cases. In the last 6 months, we have dealt with 202,857 cases in the High Courts. Advice files. March 2018 to March 2020, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in the headquarters only dealt with 2,000 advice files from the investigative agencies. April 2020 to March 2021, we have had 720 advice files from investigating agencies. From 2018 to 2020, we have dealt with 1,324 complaints against the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Another question that is important is how does the ODPP account, or how is the ODPP accountable? There is a typo. We have two types of accountability, institutional and individual. At the institutional level, the DPP is required to act within the law, the constitution and legislations, and if it does not do that, that is why people go for judicial review. We make reports to the President and Parliament. We have policies and guidelines that are transparent and public. We have a complaint section where you can complain. We undertake public engagements, and we give reasons for our decisions to charge or not to charge. To individual prosecutors, for individual prosecutors like us, we are required to adhere to the Code of Ethics of Public Service, Law Society of Kenya, International Association of Prosecutors. We have a performance management system. We have an internal affairs unit. We have the inspectorate with inspectors, and we have policies and guidelines. We also have a code of ethics for prosecutors. How do we make the decision to charge? Apart from legislations that define what a crime is, we have two tests, the evidentiary test and the public interest test. And we have a guideline to direct the prosecutors on how to do that. That is the chart for the criminal justice sector. What are the requirements for becoming a prosecutor? This is from the ODPP Act. You have to be an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. You must hold a legal qualification or legal qualifications that would entitle you to practice law in Kenya. And you have to be fit and proper person with due regard to experience and consciousness and integrity, and to be entrusted with the responsibility of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. These are our offices all over the country. We have the headquarters, which is headed by the Director of Public Prosecutions. We have 8 regional offices. We have 47 counties. We are in 137 court stations. According to our research, we have 47 DCI offices all over the country. We have 1,151 police stations in the country, and we have 92 prisons in Kenya. These are our stakeholders, and we serve them. In closing, the DPP and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions aims to drive the office towards excellence. We aim to strengthen accountability mechanisms within our office, to improve strategic management tools, and to leverage on data to design evidence-based policy. Through a variety of innovations that we have had in the Office of the Public Prosecutions, including prosecution-driven investigations, specialized career path, performance management systems, and improved terms and conditions of service, the ODPP CS has then become the biggest law firm in the country and an employer of choice for most law graduates in the country. This training today rightly feeds into one of our organizational strategic commitments to transform the quality of prosecution service in Kenya. We hope to improve the DPP institutional performance through professional management. Currently, we have many programs aimed at developing skills and building the professionalism of our current staff. Our capacity to deliver depends on our ability to develop and retain staff. With resources constraints, we had to innovate and use technology. And even during this training, we used technology, didn't we? You did some courses online with some institutions in the US, didn't you? Yes. In short, effective prosecution services with well-trained and adequately empowered and equipped prosecutors committed to the rule of law values contribute to tackle impunity, protect citizens, to ensure rights of individuals are upheld, rights and ensures the lawfulness of state actions. The United Nations Guidelines on the Role of Prosecutors states that prosecutors shall, in accordance with the law, perform their duties fairly, consistently, and expeditiously, and respect and protect human dignity and uphold human rights, thus contributing to ensuring due process and the smooth functioning of the criminal justice system. And I would like to comment. DPP, these are our very young prosecutors, they've just come in. But from the song that they sang, you can realize that they have internalized the purpose of prosecution and what is required of a prosecutor, and internalized the international instruments that give best practices for prosecutors. Finally, it is our belief in the Office of the DPP that an effective and efficient prosecution service is one where there is a conducive marriage between the rule of law and the rights of the people, as enshrined in the Constitution. And while doing that, we have to protect the public interest and the administration of justice. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions, you can send them to us and we will respond.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate Madam SPP for those very, very enlightening remarks.
Sorry, but I want to request the speakers who will come to be very short. SPP is a senior counsel, so I let her through. So please, if you can adhere to the 5 minutes, because the CS has another engagement with His Excellency the President. Please.
Thank you so much. The DPP has done it for me. I was going to emphasize. The chief guest, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going into this session, and I will call our next speakers. Be brief. The first speaker is going to be Mr. John Kariuki, the Deputy Inspector General. Please take the platform. Thank you.
The CS Interior, the DPP Nordun Hanji, the Commissioner General, Mr. Buru, the President of the RSK, Mr. Nelson Harvey, Mr. Tulib Mubarak, EACC, distinguished guests, the graduates, good morning. On behalf of the Director of Criminal Investigation, Mr. Keynote, I go dialect and read his speech. I am pleased to join the fraternity today as we celebrate the successful induction and graduation of the 48 newly recruited officers of the Directorate of Public Prosecution. I heartily present the reassurance of my regards to the Director of Public Prosecution, Mr. Nuruddin Haji, for extending this invitation to the Director of Criminal Investigation, given the line that exists between the establishments of the two directorates. As the national prosecuting authority mandated by the Constitution to prosecute all criminal cases in the country, the Director of Public Prosecution plays a pivotal role in the judicial system by acting as link between the judiciary and the investigative agencies. The need to establish harmonious working relations by the three bodies thus cannot be gainsaid, as the country's democracy, economic progress, and the peaceful coexistence among citizens depend on it. As an independent entity, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution today enjoys autonomy, thus discharging its legal mandate without interference, coercion, or intimidation, with its absolute loyalty inclined towards the noble cause, the people. It is this confidence, the integrity that is above reproach, and the resolute pursuit of justice that I wish to highlight for today's graduates. After 3 months of rigorous training in this facility, you have everything to thank God for. You have a job, you have the necessary competent skills, and indeed, every month, a good pay will be hitting your bank account. That must be worth celebrating. Perhaps something you could propose a toast for. But something more satisfying should boost your morale as you plan your day every morning. Imagine waking up one morning to find the poor villager whose life and family depends on 50 by 100 parcels of land, holding its title, deed courtesy of a successful prosecution process by you, after a fierce court battle with a powerful land grabber. What pay can raise your spirits to such satisfaction? Pursuing the cause of the poor, the weak, the voiceless in a society need be your priority, as you uphold the rule of law while remaining within the confines of your legal mandate. I am told you have been oriented to the government policies, coupled with the rules, regulations, and the operation of this directorate. What more you need to know will be learned on the job. Your facilitators have given you the wings to fly, but you must build your stamina to keep flapping, lest you spend the rest of your career mark-timing. In the words of Holy Book, Proverbs chapter 22, verse 29, the Bible reminds us that a man skilled in his work will serve before kings and not before obscure men. Drawing confidence from this assurance, you can hope that the good work you do will not go unnoticed forever. But even if it is not, never stop doing what you believe in. The interpersonal skills acquired will further guide your interaction with investigating agencies, witnesses, and the court. It is important that good communication processes are instituted and maintained, as this will be instrumental in establishing relationships and pushing the common agenda, justice. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the DCI fraternity, I congratulate and welcome you to your new roles as court prosecutors. It is my hope and prayer that you will enjoy working with all stakeholders, thrive in your career, and be the pride of your country. As DCI, we pledge all full cooperation in working with you while executing your mandate through a dedicated service of care and integrity. Thank you, and may God bless you.
So we appreciate the DCI. Our next speaker is Dr. Jonathan Lodompui, the Vice Chairperson, IPOA.
Yes, my name's Dr. Lodompui Jonathan. I'm here on behalf of Anne Makori, the chair of IPOA. She had some engagements in Kiganjo as we partner with the police, particularly on the reforms, and therefore that's why I'm here. Honorable CS, Fred Matiangi, the DPP, Mr. Haji, the CEO EACC, the President of LSK, the CG KRA, other distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I will really be very brief indeed, because of the nature of the instructions and the order of the day. It gives me pleasure to be here to witness today graduation ceremony, conclusion of 3 months of concerted induction effort to prepare new officers to take up public responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority was established to give effect to the provision of Article 244 of the Constitution that the police shall strive for professionalism and discipline and shall promote and practice transparency and accountability. On this fact, I would want to thank Honorable CS really for taking stride, painful reforms in the right direction. We are really very grateful, very grateful. If we can walk that direction, I know it will be painful, Buenos Aires, but I'm sure this country will be better than the way people think. Thank you so much. To realize this, IPOA embedded the strengthening of stakeholder cooperation and complementary as a key result area in its current strategic plan. It is on this premise that we continue to forge close working relationships with other critical partners, including the ODPP. On behalf of the authority, I therefore laud the continual cooperation between the Office of the ODPP and IPOA. We hope that this bilateral relationship will continue to be mutually beneficial to ourselves and to the Kenyan people. In this regard, IPOA associates some of its milestone achievements, especially through those where police officers have been found culpable of criminal offenses, to this collaboration. Through our joint efforts, a few police officers have been found guilty of offenses and have been rehabilitated. Take the word rehabilitation. You know, it is not about finding fault. It's about working together to a better country. And many more have learned from their mistakes and become more professional in their work. I would humbly again thank the ODPP, particularly on this very difficult moment of the curfews and the problems of the COVID-19, and the approach he has taken to help IPOA in thinking through, rehabilitation and thinking widely on how best to handle this. I think it has been explained why charges are preferred at some point. They have taken over 100 cases, and we are trying to blend, Honorable CS, blend the thinking, say that, it doesn't look like somebody is pulling on the different direction for no apparent reason. We reason together, we look at issues, even when some things are very glaring, when an officer gets off and starts caning people on the road, that's an issue. But you see, what does that translate into in terms of justice? Therefore, our work has been facilitated, and we would want to really work together and continue with that cooperation and ensure that this country realizes the fruits of this criminal justice. For the graduates, much has been said. We thank you so much for this noble work. I know there's so much ahead that you need to do, and you have already been given the baton. I'm sure by today, when you get a certificate, the baton has already been handed over to you. Where I come from, once you grow to a certain level, and you are given a stick, you must bring all the camels and all the cows home. So I hope that is the reason here. Lastly, as an authority, we are appreciative of the DPP, as we have said, and all officers working under him, and by extension, researchers and others. And IPOA promises that when advice is sought, we will give that advice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. May God bless you, and may God bless this country, Kenya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate IPOA and the Vice Chairman. I now call upon Mr. Paul Ndemo, the Deputy Chief Registrar, to take the stand.
Thank you. The Honorable the CS for Interior, the DPP, kindly allow me, in the interest of time, to proceed on the already established protocol. Good morning. It is my humble pleasure this morning to congratulate you, the Prosecution Council and legal research officers graduating from the 3-month compulsory induction program. I also bring the goodwill, congratulatory message on behalf of the judiciary, and specifically the Honorable Chief Registrar, who was not able to join us this morning due to the exigencies of duty. I remember about 15 years ago, sitting where you sit, there is a file that was brought to my desk as a prosecutor. A letter had come from the US Embassy asking for a prosecutor to prosecute a very sensitive case involving some robbers that had killed some American citizens. The letter was brought on my desk, having been appointed as the prosecutor to deal with that matter. You can imagine the fear, the trepidation, and wondering, am I going to be safe? How am I going to deal with this case? These people are associated or connected with some criminal gangs. And having done, starting to do that case, I asked myself, where will I start? What am I going to do? So as you sit here today, you are highly privileged because you have had an opportunity to be trained, and to know what to expect, unlike what used to be there before. I wish to applaud the ODPP for carrying out such an intense and extensive induction program, which I believe has not only given the new officers a unified approach to their prosecutorial duties, but has also equipped you with the technical and interpersonal skills that you require to fulfill your prosecution mandate. Ethical behavior is not just a matter of personal integrity. It is also a matter of constitutionalism and adherence to the law of the land. Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya is categorical on the issue of leadership and integrity. The foundation of your authority as a public officer is the public trust given to you by the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya are the sovereign authority in this constitutional dispensation, and they are the ones you have been called to serve. Your position in the ODPP puts you in a special place of helping in the quest for justice. You are selected to this position based on your competence and suitability. Actively resist any improper motives that have the ability to compromise your professional judgment or your integrity. Execute your public duties selflessly and be ready to be accountable for the decisions that you make in your professional capacity. And where there's a conflict of interest between your personal interests and official duties, promptly disclose that and let justice run its course without tainting your integrity or compromising the course of justice. Article 10 of the Constitution outlines national values and principles of governance that apply to all public officers. I urge each one of you to familiarize yourself with these values and uphold them in your new positions. Inculcate in your work the values of human dignity, human rights, social justice, equity, and the rule of law. And ensure that you fulfill these mandates with your integrity, transparency, and accountability. As I close, because of time, I know you've learned a lot of things. There are many things that you have been taught, but let me attempt to just give you an acronym that will help you remember, in summary, the things I have said and what you have learned here. So if we take the acronym of prosecutor, P, I would say P would stand for having a purpose-driven career. Yes, indeed, you applied for a job and you could have come here because it's just work that you needed, but you need to go beyond a job. Why did you apply for this job? You have now been trained for 3 months. What will you be remembered for? What value are you going to add as a Kenyan citizen and a professional? Be respectful, both to your colleagues and the other stakeholders. There are many stakeholders that you'll interact with. You need to be respectful. You need to be open. Be open to new ideas. There's a lot that is happening in the legal world around you, and you need to be open so that you can learn what is happening and so that you can keep up with the times. You need to be studious. That is the S. Now, studious here is for you to be adept at your research and make sure that when you come before court, when you do your work, you have done what is the latest, so that you don't come to court and quote cases or laws that have since become obsolete. The E, I would say, be empathetic, because you are dealing with people. You are dealing with victims. You are dealing with somebody's brother. You are dealing with somebody's mother. You are dealing with somebody's sister, the breadwinner. So you need to be empathetic as you do your job as a prosecutor. T, you need to be tolerant. You will meet many people. You will deal with many stakeholders. Even amongst your own colleagues, people are different. Some are people you can work with. Some are very impatient. So you need to be tolerant for you to do your job well. O, you need to be organized. as you prepare yourself for court, it does not matter the kind of lawyer that you'll meet on the other side. You will be able to do your job well. I remember in my very early years as a prosecutor, one of the cases I had was against senior counsel James Orengo. Can you imagine on the other side and wondering? I could not sleep. But because I had prepared myself, I said, I hope things will work out. And fortunately, as it turned out, I got my orders. But I was shaking as I got those orders because I wondered whether it was going to happen. But what happened? It is your preparation that helps you. And it will not matter on the other side, whether it is the president of LSK or who else it is, you will be able to do your job. And finally, you need to be resilient. The work of a prosecutor is not easy. You will prepare yourself. You'll sometimes go to court. The witness may not show up, but you need to keep on coming and coming again. Colleagues, I wish you all the best, and I congratulate you again on my own behalf and on behalf of the judiciary. God bless you. Thank you.
This year, Jay, you have spoken well, but you promised me to be brief. Now, the next speakers, please keep to your promise. I give only 5 minutes. Please try. So the next speaker, I'll call upon the Commissioner General, KRA, Mr. James Mburu. Please take the stand.
Let me hope I can trust what you have done. CS Interior and Coordination of National Government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Taxmen are not known to give very nice speeches. I love your music, it was very beautiful. I can only tell you that you are joining a profession that requires you to exercise independence of both thoughts and emotions. One time, Julius Caesar, who was a military general, said that you must lead yourself of the emotions of friendship, hatred, anger, and pity, for when these intervene, your mind cannot judge the truth. And no one has ever been able to serve both his emotions and his best interests simultaneously. So I believe you are joining a very serious profession that requires commitment, that requires dedication and independence of thoughts. I would like to remind you that KRA is a critical stakeholder in the criminal justice system. We investigate cases of tax evasion, and one conviction for us is a critical deterrence in fighting tax evasion. So we know that by your being here for the 3 months has prepared you enough to be able to deal with those cases and to serve your country in ensuring that there is no tax evasion, and therefore we are able to mobilize resources that are good for this country. As you join your career, I would like to take you back to the end, or front to the end. When you retire from this career, I'm sure you will have time to reflect on what a career it was. And among the things you'll have to reflect on is whether you did your job in the manner in which it was meant to be done. How many people did you, or how many cases did you prosecute properly? Did you stand for the rule of law? Did you stand for justice? Did you stand and defend the many who had no one to defend them? Did you execute your duties the way you ought to? Mine is simple. I am used to collecting taxes, not to give speeches. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
I indeed love the taxman and the nature of their speeches. Now I'll invite the CEO, EACC, Mr. Twalib Mubarak.
Thank you very much, CS Internal Security, Honorable Matiangi, the DPP. I have a military background. I don't believe in reading speeches, so I'll keep it aside and talk about issues. First of all, congratulations. When I see you, it reminds me in 1985 when I commissioned as a second lieutenant. That was 33 6 years ago. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate the DPP. And the point that we are trying to drive here is one. This graduation gives the EACC a lot of comfort, because the EACC cannot be successful if we have a disjointed or a disorganized ODPP. The ODPP is undertaking three main, agenda: transformation, capacity, and the issue of fairness. Somebody talked about fairness. We are dealing with human beings, and we must be fair. When you go out there, you start your work, one of the biggest problems that you will have is the temptation. The temptation to be bribed, which talks about your ethics. The temptation for you to be told, this is somebody from our community, try to save him. The temptation of being told, you know, this is how we do things. When you go there and start working, I'll give you a good example. When I joined the army, the first, you are given a lieutenant to be your guide, who will show you how things are done. And you're told, you know, ile vitu ulifundishwa kule la net, kidogo unapendua pendua. You cannot go and count all the bullets. Ni mingi, so pick a box and take ukisikia kwa mzito, you sign and say everything is okay. But when things go wrong, you'll be in trouble. So adhere to your profession. Make sure that, be patient. I know most of you, one of the biggest challenges we have with the young generation is that they are very impatient. They want to become ODPP overnight. DPP overnight. They want to become generals. I can see one next to me here. Sorry that I'm trying to decode the rank, but I'm not able to decode the rank with a light touch, Mr. President. So, when you see that senior lawyer, when you see somebody who is your supervisor, just know that there was time that he took to get to that stage. Somebody talked about his first encounter as a prosecutor where he faced a very senior lawyer, but he made it. So with time, you'll grow. With time, you'll grow even beyond the ODPP. For us as EACC, we have a very good working relation with the ODPP. We work in partnership. The successes that we have as a commission are attributed to the cooperation between the Office of the ODPP and the EACC. We now do joint case review, and where we disagree, we disagree in a very civilized way. We under the roof, and we get a solution out of that. So I think the DPP in future, we also need to have more joint training of prosecutors and investigators to bridge the gap, because that has been one of the biggest challenge. Investigators believe that the lawyers demand a lot. And out of that, maybe a lot of some of the questions, they're a little bit either too James Bond, when they say this is the cover point, go and look for this document, go and look for this. Sometimes the investigators say this is too theoretical. And the lawyers, sometimes they say, no, the investigators are doing a lot of shoddy work. And these cases are not watertight. I know there's that fear from both sides. When a case collapses, the DPP is on the receiving end. When a case succeeds, we do sharing. The DPP and EACC, ODPP and EACC both celebrate. You see the problem here? When a case collapses, the ODPP is on the receiving end. When a case succeeds, ODPP and EACC celebrate. So EACC sometimes is seen as an opportunistic achiever. But what we are saying is that we need to work together. Corruption cases are so complex. And many times corruption cases collapse, not because somebody did not commit an offense. They collapse out of technicalities. Yesterday we lost a case against a governor, and we were told, okay, you brought a case, but you didn't do this and that and that. That is what I talk of technicalities. And we have to address those issues of technicalities. I keep on insisting, corruption is a unique crime, is the only crime that has got no complainant. It is the state to prove that something took place. You have received money, You have given money. Both of you are refusing. The other side has got very competent lawyers. Mr. President here, against our young lawyers from either ODPP or the EACC. So it is very, very technical, and we need to sharpen our skills because there is no outright approach on corruption cases. Tomorrow you have people who have stolen in a road project, dam, school, medical equipment, and we don't have doctors. So we need to, the way one of our presenters said here, this is not the end of you. You should keep on learning new skills. And us as EACC, we are here to support the ODPP, and we trust the ODPP will keep on giving the support that he has been giving us. And for those remarks, I don't know whether there are many or few. I wish you all the best. And I want to remind you, there is a silent sibling war between ODPP, EACC, and KRA. We keep on poaching each other's stuff. So ODPP, you're not safe. I may end up poaching this stuff of yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. CEO. We have noted your words of wisdom, and now we invite Lo Presidento, LSK, Mr. Nelson Harvey. Please take the stand. I know you are a man of few words.
Graduate prosecutors, the managing partner of the biggest law firm in Kenya, ODPP, LLP, my friend Nurdin Haji, the CS Interior, Ule Jamaa Taxes, and my friend Major Twalib. Twalib, you know, the only reason why I'm not in military command is because in 1996, when I went to Moi Barracks for recruitment, a major like you told me, kijana, hapa si mahali pa watu wa makaratasi ya hii ni kazi ya mkono. But were it not for that, I would have been holding very serious military command. I stand here as the commander of the legal forces. These are my soldiers, the ones who have graduated today. And Twalib, this is the star of Josiah Martinez. He is the founder of Cuba. So don't succumb to instructions from the CS Interior to have me arrested and prosecuted for masquerading as a military officer. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the role of a state prosecutor. A state prosecutor exercises state power of prosecution. These are enormous powers, and you will exercise these powers as a delegate of the Director of Public Prosecution. As you are aware, the Director of Public Prosecutions is a state officer. He holds one of the 3 key independent offices under the Constitution, set out under Article 157 of the Constitution. Now, as you undertake this role, ensure that you serve the best interest of the state. And please, do not confuse the state with the executive. State power of prosecution just means that, because the state is constituted of 3 main organs: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. As you sit in your office, as you stand in court, ensure you live to the creed of that office. I do not know so much about prosecution, so I will not give you advice on what to do. But permit me to speak about a few things. I see those who have graduated today are very youthful advocates. I will place your age between 26 and 32. I want you to prosper in the practice of prosecution. But remember, before you qualified to be recruited as a prosecutor, one of the requirements was confirmation that you are an advocate of the High Court, you are a member of the Law Society, and you do not have any disciplinary complaint. Could you please ensure that throughout your term of service in the biggest law firm in the Republic, you maintain high standards of integrity? Now, as you venture in this peculiar practice of law, you're not obliged to remain a member of the Law Society. Neither are you precluded from being a member of the Law Society. I plead with you to maintain your membership in the Law Society, because the Law Society plays a fundamental role in ensuring towards the progression of your career and in bringing you back to the realization that over and above being an individual working in a state office, you are a lawyer and an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. My very good friend Nurdin Haji has been a good managing partner of this big law firm. No wonder, therefore, there are those who think we need to remove Article 158 of the Constitution so that he remains in office for as long as his term is supposed to last. I belong to that category, but it's a selfish category. We do not know if the person who will succeed my friend Nurdin Haji will be as virtuous and somebody of integrity as him. So insofar as law reform is concerned, two issues. These gentlemen and ladies may want to become the Director of Public Prosecution, maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now. An amendment in the Constitution, the effect of which is to increase the years of practice for entry into that office, is not progressive. I will therefore humbly request that those amongst you who are transformative in ideas submit your views as to the fact that this increase in age limit for qualification as Director of Public Prosecution is not proper to be entrenched in the Constitution. Number two, may I also ask you to present your submissions, as we've done on behalf of the Law Society, against the attempt to remove Article 158 of the Constitution. An independent office is time-bound. It also has obligations. And this particular office has obligations that can emanate from Article 10 of the Constitution and Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Judges are also state officers whose tenure is protected by the Constitution. But they are subject to a removal process should they fail to live up to the expectations of the Constitution. It will therefore be retrogressive if the people of Kenya were to remove that fundamental requirement, which is supposed to be the guide within which the leader of this big law firm is supposed to conduct him or herself. May I take this opportunity to wish you the very best. May you prosper and have an illustrious career. I want 10 or 15 years from now, when Nurdin Haji will have ceased being the Director of Public Prosecution, you will be a Director of Public Prosecution. God bless you abundantly.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let us appreciate all our speakers. Let us give them a deserving appreciation. Thank you so much, DPP, my boss. May you now take over the ceremony, even make your remarks, and invite the chief guest to address us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Dr. Fred Matiangi, CS Interior and Interior of National Security, Commissioner General, my brother, Pastor James Mburu, Major Retired Talib Mbarak, the President of the Law Society, President Nestle Harvey, members of the advisory board present here today, and I'll just mention them. Madam Ondieki, maybe you can stand up here, from the Witness Protection Agency. Mr. Titi from the Office of the Inspector General, Mr. Waweru from the Office of the Attorney General. Of course, our President, Mr. Harvey, is also a board member. And I think Mr. Karaoke, yeah, from the DCI's office. Mr. Ndemo, who was our colleague from the judiciary. Development partners, I can see the GIZ is here, UNODC, Lawyers Without Borders. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm delighted today to witness this graduation ceremony to the ODPP class of 2021. So allow me to offer them congratulations. Indeed, it is a significant occasion that marks the end of the 3 months of induction training for our newly recruited officers, following the inaugural induction by the Prosecution Training Institute, held in 2018 when the institute was established. I want to sincerely thank His Excellency, the President, for his great focus and leadership in ensuring that the ODPP was adequately facilitated to acquire this school. It confers great delight upon ourselves that we are conducting this graduation ceremony today on our very own grounds. I'm also very grateful for the support and facilitation advanced by Honorable CS Matiangi. He has always stood with us, even on short notice. We asked him to grace this occasion on short notice, and he still accepted and was able to find time to be with us. His support and that of his office has gone a long way in assisting the ODPP to achieve its goals. I also want to thank the CS Ambassador Yatani, who could not make it today. He was called to Parliament at the last minute, just before he could make it here. I also want to thank the IG, who was going to join us, but unfortunately could not. Thank you very much for the support. To our colleagues within the criminal justice system represented here today, I want to express my gratitude for your partnership with the Prosecutors Training Institute and Prosecution in general. The scope of our cooperation and collaboration can only deepen. A key agenda that I started 2 years ago was the need to invest in continuous professional skills development as key in retooling the ODPP into a 21st century prosecution agency. I am glad that since its establishment, the Prosecution Training Institute has continued to make this a reality. The PTI has offered our officers professional development, promotional courses, and specialized training in thematic areas. To date, 125 officers have undergone an intensive induction program, which was conceptualized with the appreciation that prosecution of criminal cases is a unique skill that is distinct from the other skills required in the other disciplines of law. Our objective has therefore been to equip staff with the skills, knowledge, and expertise required to effectively prosecute cases. To the graduates, this induction has introduced you to the thematic areas of criminal law that prosecutors engage in daily. You are therefore privy to the substantive and procedural laws necessary for the discharge of your duties, as well as the various ODPP internal codes and policies. These policies include the guidelines on the decision to charge that Madam SVP, Senior Counsel, took you through, which are the core of our duties as prosecutors. The National Prosecution Policy 2015 and the General Prosecution Guidelines 2015. The plea bargaining guidelines, the diversion policy and guidelines, and the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Prosecution Guidelines, among others. Therefore, you will be expected to adhere to these guidelines as you make the decision to charge, which is a central component of the prosecutorial mandate and the ODPP's independence. In addition to these policies, you're also required to appraise yourselves in the ODPP Excellence Charter, which identifies and elaborates the office's strategic commitments to realizing a 21st century prosecution service. I am confident that you have been enriched by some of the legal's professional, extraordinary, and well-rounded prosecutors. You have also had the privilege of receiving instructions from practicing judicial officers and lawyers in private practice, both nationally and internationally. Additionally, you had the privilege of receiving instructions from various government departments and agencies. This is a real demonstration of the inter- and intra-agencies collaboration and cooperation spirit, which is requisite to the fair administration of justice. To the PTI class of 2021, as you embark in your prosecutorial careers, our collective objective is to now work hard to continue transforming the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions into a world-class prosecution agency. This objective must be anchored in some key pillars which should guide us moving ahead. First, I think you must appreciate that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is a constitutional office established under Article 157 of the Constitution. Further, as stated by the President of LSK and SPP, Madam SPP, you will exercise the state powers of prosecutions. And I think the LSK President has explained what state powers entail. We are therefore not a directorate. We are a independent constitutional office that directs all investigation agencies in the country. That you must understand, and I hope all other stakeholders will also appreciate. We must ensure that the quality of our work is greatly enhanced, and we must offer this nation the highest returns on its investments in us. The optimism you now bear must not be left to die. The pessimism that may arise from years of service must not be allowed to take root. This can only be achieved through the enhanced quality of your work, leading to greater convictions. Graduates, you must embrace innovativeness and creativity in conducting your work. The threats our country faces through the evolving nature of crime requires us to be innovative and creative in our approach towards combating through prosecution of these new threats. The induction training has equipped you, hopefully, with new ideas, and I hope you will learn. You will not only learn, but also implement what you've learned or been taught. Kenya demands no less of you, each one of you, as it is said, those to whom much is given, more is expected. Great expectations have been placed on your shoulders, and I have no doubt that I am looking at the faces of doers and innovators who will not merely meet great expectations, but also exceed them. Secondly, graduates, as gatekeepers within the criminal justice system, to uphold the rule of law, public interest, and the interests of the administration of justice, remember you will be expected to be independent in the execution of your mandate, to make tough calls, and to be bold whilst at it. Indeed, as the song you had presented today, you should always carry with you our values of respect, promotion of human rights, the rule of law, integrity and ethics, professionalism, fairness and impartiality, courtesy and respect, and more importantly, teamwork. These have no substitute. They are the ODPP creed for which you'll be expected to stand, defend, and uphold, both in your public and private lives. And I think this, having been our first song, and I believe it was a written by yourselves, SPP, maybe we should consider having it as our theme song and anthem. The third pillar, which must guide you and us all, is that of integrity. And in the words of Chinua Achebe, let us be reminded that one of the truest tests of integrity is its blunt refusal to be compromised. We must embody integrity in your service delivery at all times. And today, I have instructed one of your colleagues to be arrested for having brought fake documents to us. And actually, after vetting, we found out that he had a case to answer with LSK, and in addition was a fugitive. So please, and that's for everybody within the ODPP and wider criminal justice system, please know that the law will catch up. May I express my gratitude to all those who made the induction program a success for their dedication and commitment. The experts from the criminal justice system, Lawyers Without Borders, GIZ, Kenya School of Government, and the ODPP's resource persons for heeding the call and enriching the inductees' knowledge with a wealth of expertise. On behalf of the entire ODPP, allow me to single out and thank retired Judge Anne Claire Williams, who is not here, but is in the States, under the umbrella of the Lawyers Without Borders, for her dedication and continued commitment to the trial advocacy program, which was delivered virtually this time round. And she has indeed been a very good friend to the ODPP. Since my joining ODPP in 2018, she has continued to offer these services to us, and she has done it even before my joining to ODPP. I really want to thank her. I appreciate the organizing team from the PTI under the leadership of Ms. Rhoda Ogoma, the acting deputy director. Thank you for doing a great job. And before I close, CSR, I want to bring to your attention the fact that, and this is a little bit outside, but I think I'll take this opportunity, the fact that our correctional services are overburdened, and we have over 20,000 remandees beyond the capacity of the correctional services. And we hope that we'll be able to come up again with a program jointly with your office to decongest, together jointly with the judiciary also, to decongest the prisons, especially because of the pandemic that we are facing. So, Honorable CSR, we will soon be reaching out to you. Finally, to the graduates, your prosecutorial life has begun in earnest now. I charge you to go forth and deliver on the promise of this great office and the high call you have answered. Be excellent, be exceptional, be exemplary. And finally, now again, I want to thank the Honorable CS for coming here and joining us on short notice, despite the fact that today they also have another very important meeting with His Excellency the President. Thank you very much, CS. Thank you all, and God bless. It is now my singular honor to invite the Honorable CS Matiangi.
Thank you very much. The Director of Public Prosecutions, the President of LSK, the Commissioner General, Kenya Revenue Authority, our brother and friend, the Chief Executive Officer of EACC, and all of you, my fellow citizens, who are here this morning. I'll be very brief. First of all, I want to thank you very sincerely for the invite to be here this morning. And DPP, because the executive branch is always held with a measure of suspicion by the other independent officers, as displayed here this morning by the president of the LSK, I think I need to start by stating the facts as they are. I am here as the foremost collaborator of the office of the DPP. The DPP does not work for me and does not work for the executive branch. We have no intentions because we don't have any powers to direct the DPP. We respect the independent officers in this country. We've never tried or even attempted at all times to encroach the DPP's office, the EACC, and other independent officers. IPOA is a critical role player in the work we do. Sometimes we have active moments of fellowship with IPOA, especially when it comes to matters of dealing with police officers. But we have found a way of coexisting, and we are moving forward very well. We love and respect the judiciary, and actually we do more to support the judiciary in silent ways in the background to ensure that the judiciary succeeds in its work, and we respect the independence of our independent institutions. But let me say this, my friends, and this is something I speak deeply from the bottom of my heart, because a lot of people in the room, when you look across the room, a lot of people are leading our offices, independent offices these days, are people who are relatively young, comparatively, to what used to happen in the past. We will not help our country and we will not move forward if we don't adopt the spirit of changing our attitude. Everything else begins with attitudinal change. When we change our attitudes towards one another, we do very well. We are standing here today at DPP, and I want to thank you very sincerely. A lot of people do not know your personal effort, you and Dorcas, to secure this institution. In fact, the president yielded more to your passion and Dorcas to ensure that the DPP's office has an institution where they can build a training institution. And when it came to us, because this institution used to belong to the police, I have no problem fighting resistance to change. And I fought resistance to change in my own ministry and department, and we very easily seeded this. And my first promise to you, DPP, is that together with my colleague, the Minister for Finance, I want to mobilize colleagues in the executive branch to see how best we can get you more resources so that you develop this institution even further. And you enhance your independence. I mean, it's fantastic to see our country achieving this and getting to this point. And I hope that as we go by, we will soon now build a robust institution here where you'll be having not just the induction courses, but your prosecution clinics and something else which I'm going to ask you to do today so that we can have a better country and we can serve our people better as we go forward. So thank you so much, because since you became a DPP, you have brought a breath of fresh air, a change of attitude, and always the spirit that draws the line between constructive cooperation and collaboration and compromise. Constructive cooperation and collaboration is not compromise. I know that your prosecutors, as they go across the country to work, they will be working with my colleagues, the county commissioners, the police command, DCI officers across the board. We have always insisted that what we need in our country is constructive cooperation and collaboration. And there's a clear distinction between that and compromise. When we cooperate and work together, we achieve more and we go further. Because the law enforcement chain is as strong or as weak as each of its cogs. Because if you have a weak investigative system, you will not hope for successful prosecution. If you have compromised prosecution, it won't matter what level of investigation that is going to be done. If a lot of good work is not going to be done at the judiciary, then justice is not going to be served. We all have to work together, and that is why I will always advance the cause of constructive cooperation and collaboration, because that is what's going to take us forward. And as we go forward, and in the interest of time, we have begun new radical changes, especially in the police department. Recently, DPP, and I have consulted quite widely within the criminal justice sector. We have begun for the first time in the country a cadet officer training program in the police service. We have insisted, and I have told my colleagues at the National Police Service, that we are now for the first time selecting graduates who will go to be trained as cadet officers. And I have advised, because that's what the law allows me to do, the Inspector General, that those who will come in from the various professions should already be admitted in their professions. The lawyers we are going to put in this must already be members of the Law Society of Kenya and advocates of the High Court of Kenya. The doctors we will be admitting must already be qualified and admitted as members in their profession. So that we begin now training a team of very strong professionals who will measure up to the demands of the criminal justice system, so that we don't get this response that we get all the time. Former Chief Justice David Maraga once told us, and he actually said this several times in public, that, you know, if you don't do your investigations properly, you don't prepare your files properly, you don't walk to court and hope that we are just there to give you orders. Because you have to convince us, you have to do your work. And for us to be able to do that work, we have to train. What we are doing here today, and what you have done, TPP, in ensuring that now you are training and inducting prosecutors effectively, answers to one edict we know of success in professional enterprise. Nothing replaces preparation and training, nothing. You cannot just hope that you'll walk around and, you know, bandy around titles and office and hope that you will succeed. Nothing replaces preparation and training. For us to be well and to do well and to succeed, we must prepare ourselves effectively, and we must train our people effectively. Our country is not competing against itself. We are competing against a dynamic environment, a very competitive global environment, and of course, an increasingly dynamic criminal ecosystem. The war against terrorism. I've kept asking, especially my colleagues in the judiciary, and my brother, the deputy registrar, is here. For example, digital jurisprudence is our next frontier of challenge, because the criminals we are dealing with are not moving money from one pocket to another. They are moving money across continents, and they are moving proceeds of crime, and they are laundering money across everything, whether it's Bitcoin, what have you. It's a very complex terrain. We cannot hope that we will just lie around here and be able to assist my good friend, the Commissioner General of KRA, in detecting tax evasion if all we are trying to do is figure out paperwork around and who has been doing what. The terrain we are moving to is complex, and it's going to be much more challenging. It requires that we prepare even better and we do even more to equip ourselves. So here is my ask before I complete my remarks. DPP, I want to request you, and then I'm going to convene a meeting, collaboration, because, you know, I can't even direct you or I can't even require you. I respect the independence of your office. So I will just simply ask, on the basis of collaboration, that going into the future, and I will ask the Inspector General of Police, that we now begin to develop the law enforcement competencies through very effective training. The resources that we have put together as the executive branch in the Crime Research Center, in the government chemist, in the forensic laboratory at the DCI, these are a lot of resources. But let me also be frank, and my colleagues from the police, I am not, besmirching you. My brother, the capacities we need are not there. Because you see, we cannot hope that the constables we trained in Kiganjo are the ones who are going to deal with those complex things that you are talking about, so that they can actually help DPP to prove a rape case. Let's be sincere with one another. And this is why I've been fighting this thing of saying, let us even look at the cutoff point of the people we are admitting. Surely, if we tell you, and I'm not, allow me, I'm not being arrogant, but let me say this. If we are admitting you with a D plus, then now we are telling you, you are now supposed to go into the complex science of analyzing blood and getting a case and preparing a document that the DPP is going to use in court to prove a murder. Are we serious, honestly? Are we serious? So that's why I'm saying, look, good people, there are many things we all can do. I'm not saying there's anyone who's useless. There are many things we can do. The time is now here for us to face the reality as it is and know that we are facing challenges we must confront in a serious manner. That's why I believe my colleagues at the National Police Service agree with me, and I'm going to humbly ask the DPP and the EACC that we now begin developing new capacities on law enforcement terrain so that when we give you a file that has come from us, they are not going to tell us we have done a shoddy job. That when we give you, when you ask the 10 questions before you go to court, we can answer them scientifically, accurately, and sensibly so that we enable you to do your work. Otherwise, beyond there, we will just be having all manner of problems, as it were. I have been here before, and if you allow me, when I was Minister for Education and we were dealing with these cases of leaders who present subject certificates that are fake and so on, one time in a past election, a leader turned up with a certificate of attending a crusade, which was written in some language from South America. And because of the hurry, they allowed the fellow to go and run for an election. So later on, when someone with linguistic competencies from that area was found, they said, okay, look at this. This is supposed to be a master's degree. They said, no. This is actually, in the language, when you translate it, it is a certificate of attending a crusade. So, look, good people, God has been so kind and gracious to us as the people of Kenya. He has given us a wonderful country, and most importantly, afforded us an opportunity to serve our nation. No one will build this country for us. We will build it ourselves. Now, on the framework of that constructive cooperation and collaboration across agencies, I want to assure you, you can expect DPP and you will get absolute 100% collaboration from the Ministry of Interior and all its agencies. We will work together. And as I said, our next frontier is going to be mobilizing our agencies and putting a case. I will be one of your champions to ensure that we get you more resources so that as we train and as we prepare ourselves to confront crime, we are actually ready. We cannot, play the kind of games we play around here. We can't even speak a proper English grammar and then hope that we can give the DPP a file. He can actually go to court and now try to see, first of all, deal with problems of grammar, then deal with problems of fact, then, and so on. We have to do our work, and let's be sincere one with another, because we are not going to go anywhere if we are not honest with one another. We just have to be very clear about this and go forward. So we wish you all the best, and for you, new prosecutors, we thank the Lord for you, and we wish you all the best as you go forward in your new responsibilities. And wherever you will serve in this country, you can expect and will get full cooperation from the agencies in my ministry, because the way forward is constructive cooperation and collaboration across institutions to build synergies that will give us the results we desire, to coalesce our energies so that we can fight crime, because the effects of crime do not choose class, category, institutions, or agencies. And that's the more reason why there has never been greater urgency to build synergies and work together such as this. I congratulate you. I wish you all the best. And I thank you, DPP, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, our chief guest, for words of wisdom, the promises, and everything that has put a smile on our faces. Allow me, chief guest, sir, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to call upon the in charge of the Prosecution Training Institute, Madam Rhoda Ngoma, and her deputy, to come and lead us through the graduation process. Rhoda?
Okay. So this is the moment that is very important to the graduates. They get to receive the evidence that they were actually in training, and we will be awarding them the certificates. So I'll be reading the names, and then we have the honor of the Chief Justice, the Chief Guest. Maybe I'm prophesying that one day he might become the Chief Justice of this country. Yeah, so that he can have the honor of handing over the certificates to the graduates. I know the graduates will be tempted to want to shake the hands, but remember we are in COVID time, so no shaking of hands, just receive the certificate. So with your permission?
Yeah, should I just read?
I want to read the list. Okay, so let's go. In the interest of time, the first person is Ahmed Ayan Shukri. The second one is Anguria C. Lona. The third one is Ivy Sheila Atieno. The sixth one is Bol Gladys Chebngeno. The next one is Brenda Chepchumba Mayo. Bridget Jepchir Koech. Chege Caroline Kanyiha. Yes. Christine Kagendo Marete. Gashao Masi Wangoi. Honga Irish Shield. Jara Handua Abdullahi. Karia Joy Kawera. Kaberia Waboi Faith. Kagema Brian Derito. Karasha Philip Pasaloy. Kinyanjui Daniel Kimani. Kipruto Amos Chilchil. Kitui Sara Nanyama. Kobe Lali Matawi. Limisi Oscar Isindu. Langat Dismas Kipkoril. Kilinyet Leonard Oluwalu. Lilian Esther Atieno Musungu. Misiga Lilian Moke. Muema Lilian Kasioka. Frida Mumbi Muhindi. Daniel Muriki Mude. Muviu Daniel Kilunda. Mwenda Jamlik Mureithi. Corazon Muhonja Nangambo. Jagi Joseph Mugol. Josephat Nyakundi Nyangao. Nyipolo Edwin Omondi. Ogalo Robert. Ojiabo Norbert Okobo. Omwenga Wycliffe Nyangate. Onyango David Otieno. Onyengo Victor Nchaga. Shikuku Felin Nekesa. Tomno Indris Kipruto. Manyasi Valentine Nahungu. Annette Ngima Wanjohi. Anesthesia Mumbe Wanyonyi. Wilby Della Edna. So that is all, but we have very special certificates, and I will invite the head of PTI to speak to it a little bit, so I beg you not to go back to your seat so that you can award the special certificates.
So DPP takes very seriously excellence in performance, and when we started the course, I assured the participants that we were watching, that the big brother was watching, and we were going to award certificates based on your performance. So we have a few certificates for exemplary performance, and I want to call Jamlek Mwenda Mureithi to receive the award for exemplary leadership. Jamlek has been the class president. Jamlek. He has been the class president. He's not here. Okay, we'll move on. We have the next recipient. We'll put it aside. The next recipient is Sarah Kitui. Sarah receives the Big Heart Award because she's not afraid to take up challenges. She has sacrificed to pursue other people's concerns. She cares for others. She's bold and is always looking for solutions. There's never a dull moment in her presence. She was one of the most active in class and keen on follow-up, available to give solutions whenever the one needed. Yes, Jamlek is here. Jamlek, I said, was the class president. He was responsive to the team's needs. He commanded a lot of respect from his peers. He was organized and very balanced in his approach. He accomplished his tasks as a leader in a timely manner, communicated clearly and concisely, quite inspirational, and he led by example. The next person is Muvoi Daniel Kilunda. Daniel is awarded for exhibiting the team spirit within the team. He's the life of the party, this guy. He inspires vibrant team spirit. He inspires the team to do what is right. A person of conviction. He pursued excellence for what he believes in, and he consulted. The next category is professionalism, and we have two recipients of that award. The first one goes to a prosecutor, and the other one goes to a researcher. We have Idris Tomno Kipruto. Idris is humble. He's very easygoing. He communicates very clearly in ways that are not threatening. He has tremendous respect for his seniors. He exudes kindness and he brings positive, present energy to the environment. This is the guy. This is the guy who you would want to be a magistrate and he appears before you. He's always smiling. Our next recipient is Ayan Shukri Ahmed. So that's from the research field. She exhibits a good grasp of her field. She's proactive and commendable in her interpersonal skills. She's pragmatic in her thinking. Very discerning of research areas. Actually, she identifies what needs to be done differently in ODPP. She's a good communicator. And you'll note one thing, she's always very clean and very smart. I am. The next category was chosen by the trial advocacy team because we had to ensure that the team in the US identified who did it well. And that, so Judge Ann Williams and the Lawyers Without Borders team made a selection for the best person. That is the award for excellence in trial advocacy. This award goes to Frida Mombi Muhindi. And this is the citation they gave. They said she's a high performer and very keen on detail. She's effective in advocacy and communication skills. She's always prepared. And above all, she shows collegiality, teamwork, and a cooperative spirit. Yeah. Then commitment to service. This award goes to Nyakundi Josephat Nyang'ao. description of Nyakundi is an advocate par excellence. He's a diligent worker. He has a very humble and mature nature. He shows up without fail, except for those instances when his health does not allow. He deeply appreciates the opportunity to work with the ODPP, and he has good exposure of the criminal justice system. He represents a formidable image of a competent prosecutor who cares for the interests of justice. I mean, this one, we were both in agreement that he's a blessing to the ODPP. Now, and finally, the last award. It's a repeat participant that receives this for something else. And when we were looking at the response we got from the US, from the team that taught them trial advocacy, we felt vindicated that actually we had done the selection a very well-rounded prosecutor. So this award is for going above and beyond, and it is awarded to Frida Mombi Muhindi. Frida is respectful to all and exhibits professional courtesy. Her comments are well thought out and not reckless. Frida inspires respect and honor because of her choice of words. She portrays a good image, the image that we desire in the ODPP. Keep it up. She values people. The others could learn from her how to communicate dissatisfaction. She was very gentle. It makes you want to change. She has an attitude of gratitude and has taken time to appreciate what is good in ODPP. She was always the one who had most good things to say about our office. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that does it.
Thank you so much, Madam Rhoda, PTI, and your team. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a vote of thanks by our colleague, Mr. Alois Kemo, followed by a word of prayer. And I wish to announce that we shall have two important photo sessions. One will be for the graduates and the distinguished guests. And then the other one will be all our speakers, invited guests, and the chief guests. I repeat, the first photo will be the graduates, the DPP, and the chief guest. The second one will be the chief guest and the distinguished guests plus the DPP. I hope I'm clear. So, Alois Kemo, please, vote of thanks. Prayer by Madam Grace Murungi, again my colleague. Prepare yourself.
My name is Alois Kemo. I'm the Regional Prosecutions Coordinator in Coast. And my task this morning is very simple, just to pass a vote of thanks. And I want to first start by thanking the Cabinet Secretary, whom I've known for a long time, my schoolmate in high school, and classmate actually. And he brings a lot of passion in whatever he does. I can confirm that from our school days. Thank you very much even for the support you continue to give the ODPP. Mr. Kariuki from the DCI, for your partnership, we thank you. IPOA, we work very closely with your people, even in the region where I am. Thank you so much, Dr. London Pui, for the remarks you made. Mr. Ndemo, our colleague, we still miss you. We hope you can still come back to the ODPP. And thanks so much for the words of inspiration that you gave to our new graduates. Commissioner Mburu from KRA, thank you for your remarks. I can confirm we also work with your team very well in the coast. President of the Law Society, Mr. Harvey, thank you for the remarks and the inspiring remarks that you made. Mrs. Ondieki, our former colleague, also from the Witness Protection Agency, thank you so much. We also work very closely with your people. Major Retired Mbarak from EACC, thank you so much for the inspirational words that you gave to our graduates. I want to thank all the graduates for what you have done. You were attached to the regional offices, and we worked very closely with you. And we know that you are a very big blessing to this institution, and we look forward to you serving the members of this society. To Mrs. Ogoma, we want to thank you for allowing us share this function in this institution. It is still at its very nascent stages, but it is very homely and very warm whenever we come here. Thank you so much for all the effort you have put with your teammates in making this training a success. And to the DPP, we want to thank you for your stewardship and your efforts in steering all these prosecutors towards being the prosecutors of the 21st century. You continue to inspire us by your passion, your inspiration to our colleagues to be people of integrity. And we keep praying that God blesses you and leads us even to greater heights. And lastly, we must thank God for having brought us this far. Let us thank him for the country that we have and for the opportunity that he has given us to continue serving this great country. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a good morning.
Thank you so much, Madam Grace Murungi. And as Madam Grace comes, now that the vote of thanks did not remember that there is an MC, chief guest, my name is Tabitha Uya, Senior Assistant DPP, and also one detail that may be forgotten, that I was the inaugural head of the Prosecutors Institute that led a very, very auspicious and the first occasion in 2019. And I want to thank the people who have come after me, that they are doing a good job. I also want to thank you, my audience, that you've been there for me and you've given me the inspiration even to stand here. Thank you for listening to me. Grace Murungi, please come and pray.
My name is Grace Murungi, Head Inspectorate and Quality Assurance. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we take this opportunity to thank you for granting us success in this ceremony. Indeed, your presence has been with us from the start and until the end. We want to give you all the praise and all the glory. Dear Lord, we want to thank you for our new prosecutors and research officers, for the privilege that you gave them to learn various aspects of prosecutions and enhance their skills. Dear Lord, we thank you for the knowledge they have acquired. We thank you for the friendships they have made. We thank you for the dreams and the visions they have in their hearts. Dear Lord, we pray as they go out there to serve the people of Kenya, may you help them to serve with dedication and commitment. We pray that they'll make a difference in their areas of influence. We thank you, Lord, for being with us. As we part to go back to our various places of work, we pray that the peace of Christ that surpasses all human understanding will be our portion this day, and that the joy of the Lord will be our strength. May you bless all of us as we part to go. This we pray, believing and trusting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. As you may take your seats, now we invite the graduates to come forward. Madam Beatrice Omari, come and lead us through this process. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You want to use the seat for the photo? Okay. Yeah, come here. Here. You'll stand here. I think I'm here. Where's Beatrice Omari? Here. They will not climb, eh? No.
So here. Please move. Yeah.
My name is Caroline Karemi Kariuki, and I am a principal prosecution counsel. I head the children's division, which falls under the Department of Conventional and Related Crimes. Before I was in private practice, I was in insurance. It was all about desk work. And I think that is the thing that makes me really love prosecution. It's not about paper, it's about lives, it's about real people.
I'd never met a prosecutor before. I'd never known anyone as a prosecutor. But again, I applied and I went for the interviews. So when I went, by good luck, I succeeded. And then I became one. Then I was like, okay, fine. So I would imagine probably I'm the first prosecutor from Kitui County.
Initially, I wanted to be a pediatrician. But that tells you my love for children started a long way back. In my mind, I knew where children are, it must be a happy place. But the children's court is one of the places you find very sad stories, day in, day out. At some point, I even wanted to quit because I was thinking, I can't handle this. This is too much pain. It's unfair what these children are going through. But then one night I sat and I thought, but this is a platform. I have a chance to speak for this child. I have a chance to do something. I might not be able to erase the pain they have gone through, but I can stop the pain from going forward, and then I can do something to make their life better.
Being from a marginalized community, first one being a Muslim, two being a female, and three coming from the Arab community, it's such a big deal for an individual like myself to be working, and two in the public service, and three to be married and have children, but still be able to manage both lives. It's unheard of. From where I'm from, it's unheard of. Yeah, like I would say, like, I'm the first one in my family to actually even work in public service. I'm always like, I wish I was able to cut myself into half and like be at two places at the same time, because I love both my lives. I love my personal life, which is very like family oriented, and then I love my job, and I love coming to work, and I love what I do, and I enjoy it because I feel like it's my purpose.
From the time I joined prosecution, most of the cases were being defended by male advocates. Some have come very aggressively to confront me why some of their clients are in jail. So long as you prepare for your case, they will come and reach a point and have respect for you because they have seen that you can deliver.
Considering the body size, not so many people have confidence in you. Even sometimes the members of the public come and they're like, oh, this is the one who is going to deal with our case. Can I have someone different? But the minute you sit with them, you talk to them, you start advising them, when you're handling their case, they develop that confidence. Respect is earned. So when someone sees that you know what you're doing, even if you're a junior, but you know your thing, you've prepared well, you're arguing a case, it has merit. All these things about seniority and this will have a backbench.
ODPP gives us that platform. You're not just a prosecutor. You give service to everyone. That is how I even got recognized by the Anti-FGM Board Kenya, because I was always out there advocating and creating awareness against all these injustices that are met by the vulnerable people in the society. And they recognized me and gave me the Prosecutor of the Year award on female genital mutilation in 2018. And in 2019, they came to Narok County because I told them there is a problem in this marginalized community. And they brought the inaugural end of FGM seminar in Narok.
I feel like we're very fortunate because not many government offices look this pretty. And we're very grateful to the DPP for this act of ensuring that we're all comfortable and ensuring that we have a lactation room, we have a mosque, we have a chapel, we have enough boardrooms, I believe. We have a clinic that is in the pipeline.
He's giving young people platforms in leadership, which is something not very common in public service. Public service initially was for the older guys to take the management leadership, but he's opened a door for the young people who are willing to work hard enough, and I think that is something that needs to be lauded.
I am grateful, really grateful for me because of the opportunities that I got to do something. You know, life can be very boring when there's nothing you're doing or when no challenge is thrown your way. And I am sure that I am one of the few people who can say that if in the course of my work I was thrown a lemon, I made lemonade out of it. And I actually really appreciate the challenges because they just proved to me that I can be stronger than I really think I am.
And again, you realize in every office, in every vocation, in every profession, there must be a calling. And if you find your calling, whether being well paying or not, you get the satisfaction you want, the job satisfaction. That is what I get being a prosecutor.